Hey traders, hope you are well. This is not the full market analysis for the 26th of June. The markets are absolutely flat. I will go over them briefly with you just to share my thoughts and to just show you what's going on. Absolutely nothing. But before we do that, let's do a bit of coaching, shall we, in terms of the Gold on Steroids software, which you can use at any time that you wish. So I've removed the software for now, and I've just got these tools on here. Let me explain what these do. Sell power, buy power, sell power, buy power, and anything above 60 is a strong buy or a strong sell. Fairly straightforward, isn't it? Okay. So how does this work if you're going to use this in isolation? If you are going to use it in isolation, be very careful because you're trading pretty much blind. But nonetheless, what you're looking for, if you can see the triangle here, not a very good circle. If you can see this triangle here, see that there, and then see that one there on the 5-minute chart. So I've got a 15-minute chart on the left and a 5-minute on the right. So what you can do is to, and again practice, is to wait for the 15-minute to agree with the 5-minute. So at the same time, they both must be hitting that supply area at the same time, and both supply areas must be above 60. Really, really important, because that initiates the liquidity sweep and the price then goes down. You're not going to sell it within that area because it does move and it does adjust. Okay, but you're going to wait for a negative candle, in this case up the top, an inside bar or a doji, whatever, and then you're going to wait for that triangle to appear. That is your signal to sell. That is your signal to sell. Okay, and again, both must agree. Now, if you see this going on here on the right with a plus 64, then of course the 5-minute must agree as well. Let's go back to there. It won't show it now because it's not live then, but you probably would have had a buy signal there plus 60 as well as the price went up. So what's the situation now? Before I turn on the software, we can see that the price has room on the left, okay, to come down into this area here. The number is 33.1205. That is the number here. So as the price moves down to 33.12, which it looks like it wants to do, then of course you're going to be very interested in potentially buying this, and we'll see if there's an outside bar, and we can see if we can get a good entry on it. It's pushing down, it's heading for 33.12, and we can draw a line there, can't we? It's about there. So that's the number. Let's actually, we can sync that, can't we? Let's sync that. And it's exactly that number there, as you can see. So we can move that up and down, and it syncs it nicely. And of course that's a double bottom as well. So a strong buy is highly likely in the next hour or so. So let's turn on the Gold on Steroids. So before I do that, the price has now gone down to 33.12, and it's thinking about whether it should actually stay there or break down or go up. And so it's holding on to 33.14 is the number, and you don't have a buy signal yet, so you have to wait, and you're looking for a green triangle like this here on the left. Once you get that, then you can go long, because the price has failed to go any lower than 33.1205, holding on to that. Notice how this pushes down this demand area. So the demand area was up here somewhere, and now it's pushed down. So that's the important part about waiting for the signal to come in. Now it's we've got to wait for the 15-minute candle to finish, because that is the important one. We don't have a buy signal, so we wait. So I have now switched on the Gold on Steroids software, and just a reminder for those who have forgotten or haven't seen this before, we are looking for buys above the green line, above the 50. This was this morning, slight rally, but it soon fizzled out and then came back down. Notice the sell power 71 and the buy power, which was 60 plus, now 59. So that is a week. You don't have a buy signal yet, so that's fine. Don't worry about that. But the couple of things can happen, of course. You can end up getting a buy signal and then buy it. However, you do really want to wait for the price to settle above the 50 moving average. The fact that it's failed to below 33.12 is very important. So therefore, the buyers are likely to step in at any stage now. This is what you want to look for. As soon as the price moves down below the 50, you do not want to be long. If it's above the 50, then that is an important point. If everything is green, you've got a buy signal here, 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 then that is good enough. If you have a sell signal here with high volume here, all red here, all red here, then you have a sell signal. Going back and following on from yesterday's move. Now the aggressive, if you want to be aggressive, a little bit aggressive, is obviously you can buy into the demand area here as the price comes into it at 33.12. So now you'd be 110 pips in profit. But of course you don't know that at the time. It can just simply break down, of course. So you do have to wait for the signal to appear. Let's take the Heikin Nashi candles off and see if there's anything going on. You can see the bounce here, but no buy signal. There's no triangle. So this is purely a temporary pullback, possibly. So let's follow on from yesterday's coaching on gold on steroids in particular. And as we said yesterday, just to confirm and to repeat, is that we have a central zero line here on this indicator here in orange, if you can see that. So anything, whenever you see a buy signal above this line, this is a strong buy and the price goes up, albeit temporary, but nonetheless up to the supply zone here. Whenever you see a price moving down below this area and below this line here, that indicates that a downtrend is occurring. So this buy signal here is weak, to say the least. So it is highly likely that you won't get anywhere there. It's not on demand. It's in midstream. It's going nowhere there, except down, of course, in the end. So this is the situation we've got now. Live, just coming up to 3 p.m. GMT, where the speeches are going on, the price is going up and down, up and down, up and down. So getting into this area here at the very bottom is a good idea, especially if it bounces the way it has done now. However, you do have a buy signal here as well. Once that's confirmed, it means that the next candle is achieving higher highs, which indicates the price is going to go higher. Okay, hopefully that explains it. But it's not a strong buy because of these reasons here. The price is not moving up. This is not in an uptrend by any means, and so therefore it is not a continuation pattern. It is a reversal off of demand or support. Okay, so you have to see it as temporary. It cannot be a continuation pattern by definition, because the price is not above the 50 moving average, it's not above the central zero line, and the volumes are higher, but you need that combination of all those things to occur at the same time, in tandem, so in unison at the same time. Once that happens, of course, then you have a no-brainer trade, as I call it. A no-brainer trade is where you run out of reasons not to trade it. So let's go to the 15-minute chart just for clarity in terms of outside bars. I often talk about this, and you see this quite often when you see the price coming outside the channel, as it did here, on very strong demand and support, then that is a good opportunity to acknowledge that that is a reversal. So we also have positive divergence in the market with an outside bar on a very strong demand. And so therefore, at that point, there is a buying opportunity into that, albeit temporary. Now, in following on from that, what can happen, of course, is it might not be a temporary situation. It may be that the price is going to rally again. Now, we don't know that. The price is not achieving higher highs or higher lows. And so, therefore, we have to presume that the price is just coming out from where it doesn't want to be. It just doesn't feel comfortable down there, and the buyers are stepping in. Now, whether the price actually starts to move up and to have a proper rally, it can happen, of course. Unlikely today with the speeches. But what does that look like? Once we know that the price wants to stay up, it always stays above the 50 moving average, number one. And also it has high volume. And we need to see this price here. This buy signal is no good to us. We need to see a buy signal up above here for clarity. Now, once that happens, then you have a potential strong rally coming in, and it could take all the supply zones out and start for heading for 3,400, which is probably going to do anyway, depending how the peace and the negotiations go on in Iran, etc. So lastly, in terms of the reversal like we've just seen and a bounce of very strong demand, you're talking about 33.12, you're talking about 120 pips or more, nearly 200 pips. And so that's the end of that trade for now. Okay, you cannot hold on to that because it's a temporary trade, it's a bounce, it's a reversal, or a correction, I should say, rather than a reversal. It's a bounce off support, basically, so it's temporary. But then if you grab 100 pips from it, then happy days. It's a good technique to use. The other thing to bear in mind, there's no buy signal on the 15-minute chart. Notice this here. If you have a look here, on this point here, there's a couple of buy signals here. In other words, the price is achieving higher candles. So waiting for those triangles is probably a good idea because the price is probably going to come back down again, bounce off again, and if it holds, of course, and then come back up to 33.50. So again, waiting for that is very, very important. So another part of the coaching today is talking about the 50 moving average. I've got a simple moving average here on an MT4 chart, which hopefully, you know, we've covered this quite a few times, and I've been using this technique for God knows how long, 43 years, it's 1982, in stocks. And so what I'm looking for is, I've just got dialing down here. If you dial down the daily chart, now look at the daily chart, see how this price is holding on to the 50 moving average. Very interesting, isn't it? And whenever the price comes down into the 50, what colour am I in? Blue. Let's take it a bit lighter. It comes down into the 50 and it bounces, and you get a big move like that, and similar to this here. So once you know what that looks like in terms of the daily, you can dial down. 4 hour, we can say it's not trending to the upside, that's for sure. But whenever the price moves above the 50, there's some big moves. This is the 4 hour chart. These are big moves. So once we know that, we can actually dial down to the 1 hour. Now this morning, during that small rally that we had during the London Open, the price was above the 50. Okay, whenever the price is above the 50, it rallies, and so on and so on. It's below it, it falls, below it, it falls, below it, it falls. So let's dial down a bit closer. There we go. Okay, so we're getting a bit closer now. 13-minute chart. And we can see here, here, here. Well, the price is above 50. There's strength in the market. When it's below the 50, it's weak. As we can see, it's weak now. 15-minute chart. Let's go back to the 30. You can see it above the 50 here for the last few days. Above the 50, these are trading opportunities. So here, you can't see it, but the money flows way oversold. Money flows way oversold. Here and here. Sell off there. And a buy back here. And money flow oversold in an uptrend, which will then drive the price much higher. So a good way to actually see whether the price is trending or not. And as we can see, if you go by down the daily, this is definitely not trending. You can see that this price is falling on the 4-hour, but holding on to the 50 moving average on the daily. So this could be a bounce in the next few days, quite a significant one in my view. Have a look at the 5-minute chart. Is it strong? Is it weak? We have to say it's weak, don't we? Below the 50. And this was the rally this morning during the London Open, albeit temporary. Failed to go any higher, and then it broke down below the 50 as shown you on the gold on steroids software. So now we do have a buy signal on the 15-minute chart. See this triangle here? Exactly the same as here. Whoops, wrong colour now. Exactly the same here. So now all we're waiting for is the price to move above the 50 moving average before it does that rally again. It will catch up. What tends to happen is this speeds up towards the price in the next hour or so, and then the price will go up here, and that will be your buying opportunity. So let's have a quick look at the markets for today, 26th of June. Hopefully you enjoyed that little coaching session. Going into a little bit more detail, getting a bit more technical. Sorry if it's a bit too much for you at the early stages, but I can repeat them if you wish. So, DXY, flat as a pancake, and coming into demand. Weaker, we have to say, in the last couple of days, as we have been mentioning in the last week or so, into demand now. So hitting a demand here, but not a very strong one. So we do expect further weakness in the dollar, which drives the euro dollar up. But we're not seeing any pullbacks for any fresh trades. Notice this here. So if you held on to the euro dollar from a week or two ago when I mentioned it, then you can obviously hold on. Well, you can hold on, but the price cycle is not pulling back at all. This price cycle here is really important. That's where you want to be buying into, and that's what we're waiting for the pullbacks to get into the market. Yen futures absolutely all over the place, going up in the last few hours, but not really trending in any direction whatsoever. Very difficult. All the yens are topping out at the very top now. Rally in the Swiss franc futures, which is lovely, because when we see this, if you see your charts doing this, just let everyone know. Just let everyone know. These swing lows are worth a fortune, worth lots of money. So if you see them, throw them in there as an idea. Just flicking through now. The indices are looking very top heavy. Hit our weekly target 6133 on the S&P 500. FTSE falling, broken this ascending triangle. Mixed Hang Seng. Aussie 200. German DAX. Now the Dow Jones did rally. If you saw that a rally, God, not exactly a rally, is it? But it did move up from this morning. As you can see here, going to the 5-minute chart, you can see it there. Just zoom in, and you have plenty of opportunities to get into this. if you trade the Dow Jones. As you can see on the 4-hour chart, price cycle is very high now, and moving into a sell power 59, which is a weak supply zone. Nasdaq, buying opportunity into that area there on a swing low. Silver mixed, gold pretty mixed, as you've seen from the, if you saw that analysis on the 50 moving average, it's definitely not trending in any direction. That can be helpful for the long term. We can see that this is what we want to see once we get a buying opportunity, a proper buying opportunity. These areas here are highly valuable. We've seen a change of character now, so the price does need to think about where it's going next. Oil is flat. Everyone's waiting, aren't they? They're waiting for the outcome. Will the ceasefire stay? Only time will tell. Euro dollar to the upside, overbought. Pound USD to the upside, overbought. Aussie USD to the upside, overbought. So what is this? US Swiss oversold in a downtrend. So price cycles are not coming back yet. There's no volume in the market. So this is what you want to see. That combination, that combination, that combination, that combination. Then you've got high probability of price falling in this instance, and it did. Congratulations if you traded it, but it's way oversold now. This is not a tradable event. US Canadian, looks like you could get a bounce here. Look at that. Get a bounce. If this holds, it probably won't because of the volumes, but if this holds, you could find that the price needs to break this area here. Then we could have a buy up to 138.43 again, but only time will tell. US yen, gosh, doing nothing. We've got some divergence here. Which indicates the price is going to go up. But in these markets, let's go a bit deeper into the US yen, shall we? Just for a bit of fun. I did mention this in the last few days. This is the 30 minutes going to the hour. I did mention this in the last few days. There was a trend line which needed to get broken before you can go long on this. And it didn't break. And another thing we spoke about the other day is price cycle, didn't we? So for all intents and purposes, this was a short position down into demand. You probably get 50 pips out of that, but no big moves to be had really worthwhile. So in this instance, the dollar needs to rally, not doing it yet. So that will drive this price higher to 147.47, but nothing going on. Euro Aussie mixed, Pound Aussie mixed, Euro Canadian mixed. Pound Canadian has broken down, but not doing much at all. New Zealand Canadian. See, let's go into, so this is why you need top-down analysis. You need to see where the price is in terms of the 4-hour and the daily. Is it cheap? Is it expensive? This is expensive. You don't really be buying in here, so you're better off waiting for the price to come down into a demand area. Oops. Into demand area first, and then wait for the buying opportunity. Euro New Zealand, this was something we had on our list, but it's not actually done anything really. It's come down into oversold territory, hit a demand area, but I did expect it to come down a bit deeper, didn't I? This would have been absolutely a dream down here at 190, 180, but didn't actually do it. It still might. It still might do that because of the low volumes. It might just pull back, do this, and then do this. Don't give up on it. Just be patient in these markets. Please be patient in these markets. They are frustrating. I know. I get it. I haven't seen markets like this for a very, very long time, I have to say. But it's no real surprise, is it, because of the situation that's going on. Canadian Swiss, there was an opportunity here. Can you see that? Doesn't matter if you miss them. Doesn't matter as long as you learn from them. That's the pattern you're looking for. As soon as you see it, then that's an opportunity to sell. I'm just flicking through now. All the yens are very top heavy. You cannot buy in these situations. Look at that. New Zealand yen, what a mess. Aussie yen, what a mess. Canadian yen. Pound yen, buying opportunity here, wasn't there? This is the combination you're looking for. It was a week ago, but never mind. There was that there, but look how narrow that is to that there. Bitcoin, probably doing nothing. No. Euro, pound. So, yeah, the markets are awful. We have to say that. There's no other word for it. But and there's no real setups now. So just be patient, please. And be patient with gold as well, because it is going to be toing and froing. There is a potential for a buy coming in the next few hours. What I'm waiting for is the price to confirm that the price is going to go up, but it's not anywhere near it for now. Have a great day.